Hey guys, Sirius here, and this is going to be an instructional video that goes over the prevention of being DDoSed. Alright, I'm going to jump right into this because I have a lot of ground to cover here. I have an IT background in Windows System Administration, focusing primarily on Active Directory, Exchange, group policies, McAfee EPO, things like that. I haven't had a need to divulge myself into the security side of things so much, but it doesn't matter because everything I'm going to go over today is pretty much common sense in the IT field. And it's unfortunate that I feel that gamers need to be up to date and familiar with this stuff. But that's why I'm sharing this all, just to keep everyone educated and updated and how to protect themselves. Okay, first things first, how your IP gets found. They have bots that'll scan through Skype names and check to see if you're online. I believe if you mark yourself as offline when you're on Skype, you know how that works, or you're like hidden. I don't believe the bots can pick you up. I don't know that for sure. But pretty much they check random Skype names and they keep a database of, you just type in a Skype name and it's like, oh yeah, our bots did pick up this person was online and this is the IP address that they were online as of the time that we scanned them. This is why people only need to find your Skype name, and then at that point they'll have your IP address if you're not protected and you're just going straight out through your internet. From there, there's a number of things people can do to knock you offline. There's websites that you can pay a subscription fee to. It's stupid. I mean, there's like botnets that other people have, and they're like, well, pay me a subscription fee and you'll be allotted an hour of booting people offline time, and all you have to do is give them the IP address and say, alright, I want this person offline for like 10 minutes, and bam, they're gone for 10 minutes. There are ways that you can do this without going through a botnet and paying a subscription fee, but then it's a DOS, not a DDoS. It's not distributed at that point, so it loses one of its D's in the acronym. Usually the person on the receiving end of that, if they have like Fios or Comcast or some kind of high tier broadband service, if it's not a distributed denial of service attack, it's usually not going to be enough to throw them offline. It might only cause them to lag. Alright, next thing, so once they get your IP address, once they have your Skype name and you're like, oh shit, I'm gonna get DDoSed, you need to change your IP address. To do that, you have a number of ways that you can do that. First, go to like whatismyip.org or Pptp or something like that and see what your IP address is. And I'd recommend, if you're not familiar with how to change it, to call your ISP, internet service provider. Let them know that you want to change your IP address. Explain to them why if you want to. And then once it's done, go ahead and refresh like whatismyip.org or Pptp and double check your IP address and make sure that it actually did change. A lot of times the person that you're talking to on the other end doesn't even know what they're talking about, and it didn't even change. There's a number of ways you can do it, like trying to spoof your MAC address and check the lease on your IP address, and which sometimes only the ISP themselves can see, and leave your modem / router if they're combined, but your cable modem, leave it offline. Sometimes you can just do that overnight, and when you wake up in the morning, plug it in and you'll get a new IP address. The point is, you want the lease on the IP address to expire so someone else picks up that IP address because it's not in use, and then so when you go to turn back on your cable modem, it's like, hey, this IP addresses are used, here, have this new one. If your Skype name is found and you want to RBG like 5 minutes from then, you're pretty much shit out of luck. Once they have your Skype name, they're probably going to get your IP address, and logging off of Skype and logging back on, even as another user, isn't really going to do too much if the botnet already picked up like what your IP address was and has you stored in like a database. Alright, so what I recommend and what I use is I have a virtual machine running on my computer with Ubuntu installed on it, which is free Linux. It doesn't cost anything. It's very user friendly nowadays. Anyone could use it. And then on the virtual machine, I have a VPN running. It's Pptp, which stands for point-to-point tunneling protocol. Very simple to set up. I'll go through how to do that. And then you just install Skype. And then all you do is load up the virtual machine, make sure you connected to the VPN before you load Skype, and then sign on Skype and you're golden. The reason this works is because the game that you're playing, whether it be World of Warcraft or League of Legends, continues to go out through your normal internet connection. But then you also have a virtual machine running on your computer that has its own separate IP address on your network. If you're using a VPN on your virtual machine, you're no longer going out to the internet through the same path that your other network connection is going through. What this means is that if you were to connect to the VPN within the virtual machine and check your outgoing IP address, it's going to display differently than the IP address on your computer. So if you're using Skype through that VPN within the virtual machine and someone was to track what IP address you're coming from, they aren't going to see the IP address that was assigned to you by your ISP. They're going to see the IP address of the VPN that you're connected to. Now, the physical location of that VPN could be in any country, and to be honest, it doesn't matter where it's located. I mean, of course, the further away it is, the more latency you have, but to be honest, I mean, I'm using I think my VPN is located in like China, and I have like a 1 millisecond delay, which isn't even enough for anyone to notice. Now, if that attacker was to try to attack you, they're not going to attack your network connection. At the very most, they might be able to take down the VPN that you're attached to, and maybe at the very worst, your Skype goes down. But the game that you're playing and your internet connection, they keep rolling along just fine because they're hidden, they're masked, and no one even knows what your true IP address even is through Skype. And it only takes a second to change which VPN you're attached to, which will immediately get your Skype back online and working again. And if the attacker is persistent, and which usually it'll stop and end at least for a short period of time right then and there, you can change your Skype name and then change your VPN and still keep rolling, and you never have to worry about your internet connection ever going down. Alright, so we just went through how your IP address is found through Skype, what you're supposed to do once your IP address is found, what I recommend to make sure that your IP address does not get found, how it protects you, and now I'm going to go through a step-by-step guide on exactly what I did to protect myself, and so you guys can follow along and do it too. Now, first things first, I have a pretty beefy computer. It's pretty nice. I built it myself, and I know that it can support running World of Warcraft and a VM at the same time. If you're trying to do this on an old piece of shit computer, I just have to add a disclaimer that this probably might not be the best solution for you. Not that a VM running Ubuntu is actually that resource heavy. It's actually pretty light, I believe. But I bet somewhere out there, there's some kid playing on his grandma's Windows 98 computer trying to get this to work. So stop it. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is go ahead and open up your browser. And you want to go to vmware.com. If you like, you can just do a Google search for VMware, and it'll pop up. And I'm just going to go through the main site, so I'll show you guys where to go. I believe you go under products, and then on the right hand side of the drop down it says free products, and then you see player, and that's the one that you're going to want on your computer. Alright, so then from there you just want to click on that download button, and then you're going to go ahead and just download the first one, the exe, and go ahead and save that to your computer. And it doesn't look like it'll take too long to download. It looks like it's only 72 megabytes here. And once it's finished, just go ahead and open up and run it. And say yes to any Windows security dialogues that might pop up. And alright, then go ahead and click next. And next again. And product updates are fine. I don't want to help anyone. Just click next, next, next. And then at this point, I don't believe there's anything left to do. It could take like 5 minutes to install. I think that's how long it took me here. Real quick, I just wanted to add, Skype is the most commonly used by these kids that are playing video games to get someone's IP address. It most certainly is not the only way to get someone's IP address. To be honest, the possibilities are limitless. And it could be anything from someone within Skype saying, hey, click on this image and it's really funny. And they get your IP address through that. You can get someone's IP address playing with them through Xbox Live. You can get someone's IP address receiving an email from them. If someone asks you to send them an email, in the email headers it'll have the originating IP address. There's all kinds of ways to get someone's IP address. And that's why I like running Skype within a VM using a VPN. It's not completely foolproof if you start using it for everything that you're going to do on your normal computer, but it will protect your Skype and any links that your friends try to send you through Skype. Alright, so while Vmware Player is installing, I'm going to start downloading Ubuntu. This is also this one's a really big download. I think it's like 700 megabytes. So you want to get this one started, get it started as soon as possible too. So you just want to Google Ubuntu, and I'll go through the long way. I'll go ahead and click on the home page. It seems like it's running a little slow, trying to navigate the web while it's installing VMware. Alright, so this is Ubuntu's homepage. At the top, I believe there's a download section. Yep, there it is. And from there, on the left-hand side, you see Ubuntu Desktop. And that's the one you're going to want to install. Okay, and then from here, I'm sick of these green boxes showing up, but I'm not re-editing this. On the right hand side, the 32-bit recommended is just fine. Go ahead and click on Get Ubuntu 12.10 or whatever version's the latest by the time you watch this video. You can scroll straight to the bottom and say Not Now, take me to the download, and not donate any money if you don't want to. And go ahead and save that file. And yeah, this one's 753 megabytes. I don't know why my screen keeps going green while I'm editing. Maybe this won't come out on the final version and you guys won't see what I'm seeing, but if you do, I apologize, and I'm not going back to fix this because it was a pain in the ass to record this. I had to completely remove VMware and my VM from my machine and rebuild it from scratch while recording just for you guys. Alright, so I cheated a little and skipped ahead, and VMware is going to complete its install right here. And go ahead and click Finish. And I kind of cheated. I already had Ubuntu downloaded from before when I did this for myself. So I really don't need to let that download finish. So I'll cancel that in a second. Alright, so here's VMware Player. On the right hand side it says create a new virtual machine. You can go ahead and click on that. And the wizard will open up. And you want to make sure the bullet point is under install. Oh, hold on. This is where I cancel my download, and you want to go ahead and put the Ubuntu file. It's an ISO file. Just go ahead and put that in a folder on your desktop or somewhere on your computer that you'll know the path to where it is. Then you can go under VMware Player. Go ahead and create a new virtual machine and choose the bullet point saying that you already have an image. Go ahead and click Browse and locate the Ubuntu. It'll say that the Ubuntu in that version was detected, and then go ahead and hit Next. So it's going to say Personalized Linux. Go ahead and type your name in there, username, and then password. And I believe the username has to be all lowercase. I made this mistake and had to go back and fix it. There's the error message. So just for the username, make sure that that's all lowercase. Click Next. Virtual machine name, I just call mine Ubuntu-Skype. And the location is fine. And I like to store the virtual disk image as a single file. Just makes it easier for me to find. And hit Next. In here you can customize the hardware if you choose. Now I have 16 gigabytes of free RAM, or 16 gigabytes of RAM on my computer. By default it was going to set up the virtual machine with 1 gig of memory. I can afford to give it 2, so I just move that slider up to 2 gigs and hit OK. And then go ahead and hit Finish. It's going to ask you if you want to download and install VMware tools for Linux. Go ahead and hit Download and Install. That's perfect. It makes it very easy. And then from here, there is a lot of wait time. Not a lot, but it's enough to make me fast forward in the video here. And you really don't have to do anything else. So let me fast forward, and I'll see you guys next time I need to press a button. Alright, and we're back. From here, it's going to prompt for you to log in. I thought I came back at the right time. Let's give it one more second here. Bam. Alright, there it goes. Asks you to log in, so go ahead and use your password that you just created. And if you want, you can resize the screen if you want. I think it'll adjust automatically. That's what I was trying to do here. Alright, so here we have the Ubuntu desktop. And you're going to go ahead and, first you want to go ahead and click on Firefox. And, okay, so now we have Firefox open. Alright, so the type of VPN that we're going to be setting up is a Pptp Vpn, which is a point-to-point tunneling protocol. It's very simple, very easy to use. All you have to do is Google free Pptp Vpn, just like I'm doing here, and it'll come up with all different kinds of free VPNs that you can connect to. You can try them out, you can have multiples for backups, whatever you like. Just for the sake of getting us going, I'm going to use the very first one here called VPN Book. Alright, so let's scroll down and take a look at this one right here. And there you see on the left hand side, Pptp, free VPN. There's the IP address, which is the host name. I don't know why they're calling it IP. Same thing though. The username and the password that you're going to need. And they have 2 servers, and they're both located in Romania. Which again, it might add like a tiny little bit of latency, but it's not enough that you're even going to notice, or the people you're speaking to are even going to notice. At least I don't. I have used this one before and it worked just fine for me. Alright, so here's how you get this to work. Go ahead and highlight the IP address, and you can go ahead and copy that. Just right click, copy. And then at the very top right, you see where those up and down arrows are. That's your network connection. Actually, what I'm going to do is let's make this window a little bit smaller so that I can drag it down here and keep it separate. So at the very top, you see, you click on that, and you can go down to network connections, and then click on the VPN tab. And it should be blank to start. You just click add. You only have one option here to add Pptp. So you hit create. Connection name, you can name this whatever you want it to. It could be VPN 1 or 2, or I'm just going to name it the same as the IP address. For the gateway, you go ahead and type in the IP address or host name, and then just copy the username into the username field and the password into the password field. Now, you should click advanced and change the setting, but I'm going to show you what happens if you don't first. So save that, and you can click close. And then when you click back on the arrows again, you'll have VPN connections, and you can just click straight to the connection that you created, and it'll attempt to connect. And this time it'll say VPN connection failed. So the way that you fix that is you can go back under your VPN connection, configure VPN, and click the edit. Just in case you made a mistake, that's why I'm showing you this. But you need to click on the advanced tab and put a box in there for that use point-to-point encryption. And that's it. Go ahead and click OK, save, close. And this time when you connect, go under VPN connections, it'll connect just fine. There you go. VPN connection has been successfully established. And now you know that that virtual machine is secure. And you can click on those arrows, and that's how you go ahead and disconnect from VPN as well. So I'm going to disconnect from that for right now. And I'm going to go back into Firefox. And if you wanted, am I really doing this? I forgot that I did this. Okay, well, we're gonna go ahead and add the second server in there while we're at it, I guess. And it's good to have more than one, because if you get disconnected, or if the VPN goes down, or I don't know if someone DDoSes the VPN, if it would be enough to drop it, but they're not DDoSing you, they're DDoSing this VPN book, so good luck with that. They can have fun. And you could have more than one VPN set up so that you can quickly switch between the two, and there's very little downtime involved at that point. So I'm going through the same thing, checking that box in advanced, hitting save. So now you can see I have two servers set up. One is a main and one is a backup. Okay, so now we want to go back into Firefox and go ahead and look up Skype. And I didn't want to look it up this way, so I'm going to do some stupid things here. Skype.com. There we go. And just go under downloads. And it already knows that we're using Linux. Brings it up by default. Choose your distribution. I just choose the first Ubuntu 32-bit one. Works just fine. Go ahead and open with the Ubuntu software installer, I think that said. Software Center, I think it was. And you have no need for Firefox beyond this point, so I just close it out. Alright, so it should be a pretty quick download. And on its own, it opens up in the Ubuntu Software Center. You don't have to press anything. You just sit back and relax, wait. And then this pops up. Go ahead and hit that install button on the right hand side. Type in the password. It's the administrative password for your computer when you set it up. Same one you used to log in. And we just give this a minute to install, and I'll probably speed up the video here. Alright, so that's done. You'll see on the left hand side it dropped down. I don't know if you missed it, but it's a weird little symbol. It might not look like Skype immediately, but sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But go ahead and just click on that, so it'll say Skype if you hover over it. And go ahead and follow through the prompts, and bam, there you go. Now you have Skype installed. I'm going to close out of Skype, close out of that, close out of everything. And then you can drag Skype right there. And it shows up this goofy logo, but once I reboot the computer, I was confused when I did this why it looked goofy. Why it isn't the Skype icon. But once I reboot the computer, and reboot the VM, I mean, it'll take care of itself and look like the Skype icon like it should. Okay, so moving on. I'm just messing around with Skype. The fuck am I doing? Stop it. Stop it. Alright, next. Taking a break from the Skype and the VPN. You'll see in the bottom left it'll have a little icon with a number next to it. Those are like updates. I just clicked on that and it said, do you want to run the updates? Yes. It's just like Windows updates, only it's for Linux. You want to keep your VM up to date, keep it secure, make sure it's running smoothly. The other thing I like to do is click on the settings like I just did and go under the computer lock and turn off everything. Make sure it doesn't lock, it's never set to. I just went through that setting, so you might have to go back and pause. It's annoying because if you're playing a game and you've got the virtual machine running in the background, if the time limit passes, which is the default, which is like 10 minutes, and it goes by, it'll lock. And then if someone messages you on Skype, you've got to then unlock the computer before you can get to Skype, and it just gets annoying. So I just disabled it so the VM doesn't lock. So this is going to take a minute. It's going to install these updates and reboot, and so I'm going to fast forward the video. And done. I decided not to leave in 2 minutes of fast forward video that really didn't show anything. So here we are. It rebooted on its own, or it asked if you want to reboot. I said yes, it rebooted. Back at the login screen, and now I'm going to show you guys a couple more important things. It's important not to have Skype automatically check the login. You don't even want Skype starting up with your computer. It may by default, but I don't think it does. You want to make sure you always connect to the VPN first, and then log into Skype. Always VPN first, and then log into Skype second. Then when you are disconnecting, you want to make sure you always exit, not just exit, I usually just quit Skype altogether with, which you click on the icon in the upper right and end it there, and it'll say quit, and then I disconnect from the VPN. Oh, alright, so what's going on here is sometimes once I reboot and you click on the double arrows at the top for the network connection, the VPN connection, it's not there. You can see right there, it isn't there. And I have to like go in through like the VPN settings and hit save, and then sometimes I'll have to click where it says enable networking. That's what it is. I'll go ahead and uncheck that, leave it unchecked for a second, and then go ahead and check it again. It'll say that your wired connection's reestablished and their VPN connections has appeared again. So now I'm going to go ahead and connect to the first VPN connection that I set up. It'll take a second, and then you'll notice that the double arrows have a little lock in the bottom right, and it says, gives you a VPN logged in message. Then you can go ahead and open up Skype. And only once you're connected to the VPN, that's when you can go ahead and load Skype and connect to it. I'm going to go ahead and hide my Skype name here just so I don't get spammed with invites. And there you go. As you can see, it looks different because this is a completely different version of Skype made only for Linux. So you'll have to take time to familiarize yourself with the changes and how it works, how to add people, which in the bottom left, that very bottom left green button. I think I click on that in a second. That'll show you how to click on. That'll show you how to add people. In the upper right, there's next to the money, there's like a history, so you can click on that and see messages and old history. And the first time you log in, if it's been a little while, you're going to get spammed with a bunch of messages that'll pop up. Or at least I do. Now, if you go into the Skype options, I would just take time to look around here. Make sure that familiarize your stuff. I think with the notifications, I get annoyed watching people log in and log out. I don't need to see that, so I go down to contact came online and contact went offline, and I uncheck the enable event checkbox. I don't care when people come on or offline. I think everything else I leave alone. So you can just go ahead and hit apply and close. The other thing that you want to check is on the left hand side, if you go under system settings and the sounds, you want to test this stuff and make sure that your headset is communicating properly through the VM and everything sounds alright. So you can click on like test sound and hit front test left and front test right and make sure everything comes across alright. I believe the VM is picking up the default sound device for your local machine, so you may have to go under the sound options for your local computer and make sure that the default recording device is the microphone that you want, and the default play device for sound is the one you want for your headphones. And then you can also, like I just did, I set up a test call.
Please record a message
through Skype.
Afterwards, your message
I think it's just under Echo sound test service. And here I recorded a little message just to test it out. and I think it should play back. You guys weren't able to hear me recording it because of my sound settings, but you do hear it played back.
What's up? What's up? What's up? This is serious. Testing my microphone. Seeing how I sound. How do I sound?
If you are able to hear your own voice, then you have configured Skype correctly. If you hear this message, but not your own voice, then something is wrong with your audio recording settings. Please check your microphone and microphone settings or visit skype.com for more help. Thank you for using the Skype call testing service. Goodbye.
And then you go ahead and hang up. I don't know what it is. Every time I test my microphone, I end up trying to sing, even though I do very poorly at it. I think for the most part, I mean, this covers everything that you guys are going to care about. I do continue this video a little bit longer, but you guys get the idea, and I think it's pretty cool how you can protect yourself. Here I'm after I ran the updates, and I'm opening up Firefox, and I'm going to show you guys. Right now I'm connected through the VPN, and I go to what is my IP, or I just Google what is my IP, and it comes back with that IP address. Now that is not the IP address that I am going out through my internet service provider. It is the IP address of the VPN that I'm attached to. So to prove that, on my local machine, I'm not going to show you my IP address, but I go ahead and ping the VPN because it was the host name that I connected to. I'm pretty sure if instead of the host name you type this IP address, I mean it's the same thing. It doesn't matter. But just to show, I ping euro1.vpnbook.com, and you see it comes back with that same IP address, 93.115.84.198. So anyone that tries to find your IP address through Skype is going to get your VPN IP address, not the IP address that you're going out through your through your ISP. So if they want to DDoS you, they're going to be DDoSing vpnbook.com, not you. So here I show, when you click on the Skype options, there's plenty in there. You want to go ahead and hit quit. So I show this. I believe I do here. Yeah, go ahead and click on Skype, and you go down to quit. And once the Skype icon is gone, then I go under VPN connections, and I disconnect the VPN. And then you can go in the very upper right and click that, whatever that power button looking sunshine, and go ahead and hit shutdown. And hit shutdown. And that'll close your VPN, your VM. Closed your VPN connection and closed your VM. And it did it in a secure way. If you ever start up Skype and first, before connecting to the VPN, then you open yourself up for bots to track you down, and for if someone's trying to target you, they'll find out what your IP address is. Then if you want to start back up the VM, you see you open up Vmware, you saw the name of the VM, you can hit play on it and it'll open up. You may get messages popping up saying it can't find local hardware on your machine. Just say no, so it'll stop searching and it won't bug you anymore. This video went way longer than I expected it to. I think I'm coming up to the 36-minute mark here. I really do hope that this helps you guys. It's what I use. It's what I prefer. I can click on links within Skype, and I don't have to worry about if you only proxy your Skype, and then you can't click on any links, and everyone's like, well, why can't you click on my funny link? I just want to show you a funny picture, and it just makes everything easier for me. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them. Probably ask me on my Facebook, which will be on the underbar to this video, because I'll probably require more space than YouTube allows me to reply back with. I'll try my best to answer them if I can, but who knows how that's going to go. I mean, everything just works for me, so I really haven't had to do too much troubleshooting beyond anything that I've already explained. But it's worth a shot. Maybe I can look it up. I mean, pretty much anything you ask me, I might Google it if I don't know. So you could do the same before you ask me. That would be appreciated. That's all I have, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you all soon. Be sure to subscribe to me for more Warlock PvP and not DDoSing content. Thank you, and have a great day. Bye-bye.